What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another recap review show here at Big Old Belt Media for Power Book 2 Ghost, which tonight we're going to be talking about episode 3 from season 4, Birthright. This episode is directed by Ben Seminoff and written by Damarin Smith. As you know, your usual suspects here to break this entire episode down. Sir Lucas, how you doing today?
Man, I'm good. I'm good. This last 10 minutes saved this complete episode, but I'm perfectly good.
Yeah, I was there's some things about this episode I was very high on, and there was parts about it I was like, you know what?
We got City High in this episode though, so that was a positive.
You did. We actually did. In some news, first of all, happy Juneteenth week for folks. So, as I said last week, hopefully y'all got out there and celebrated your independence. You know, that real one for you all,
Yeah.
for what it's worth, real one. Because
especially people around our complexion.
Yeah. But there's been some news that's come out recently about Power Book 2 Ghost, and it breaking records on its premiere episode of season 4. I don't have it in front of me right now, but if I remember correctly, it was the biggest or highest viewership ever for any Star show.
It was one, because they put one in front of it. So it was one of the highest ones, the number one, as Power always is, number one in Black households in the key demographic, which is 18 to 34.
Yeah, it says Power Book 2 Ghost season 4 draws a strong debut audience. It drew 6.5 million multi-platform viewers in its first week. This becomes the network's largest debut ever. Yeah, and it says notably the network says that there was a sense of urgency from the viewers to watch the last episodes, with 11% of the premiere date streaming coming within the first hour of its launch, which means, folks, if I can do the statistics here, that means 11% of you all or a percentage of the 11% of you all came through and showed us love, because we had big numbers too that first week. But nonetheless, I wanted to start off the show, and I wanted to ask you, because you know you've always been a numbers guy when it comes down to viewership and demo and box office and whatnot. What do you think that means to stars?
We can start off by saying a nice way that is a wonderful number for stars, but it's only a wonderful number for stars. Like, if anyone, like, you know, certain streaming services had a show that they thought was really great do around 5 million in this first week, and they called it a disappointment. But for stars with Power, you got to understand this is a show leaning towards a certain demographic. So I'm way more impressed that it's the number one show amongst Black households. That's the huge number to me. Like, the 6 number, that's cool, but that's multi-platform. That's a week of viewing. I don't care about that. But for you to be the number one show amongst Black households, that brings us back to like New York Undercover and Martin and stuff like that. Like, that means it's much watched TV for its core demographic. And when you get a core demographic and that core demographic locks in on your show, that's all that matters. I wouldn't give a damn if it did 3 million. If you told me that 3 million was all Black folks though, that means you hit your core demographic. I know who I'm making the show for. That's how you get spinoffs. That's how you get shows. It ain't about some of these shows that do these huge numbers and you be like, but they can't retain that audience.
Yeah.
Power has constantly, especially Ghosts, which is literally the number one show they have, has always maintained its audience, especially amongst black households. And that's what needs to be celebrated more than anything. And stars ain't crazy. That's why they doing more of these. That's why they're constantly spinning off everything humanly possible.
Yeah. And I agree. Good news for them, good news for the viewers, good news for the fans. You all showed up and showed out in support. And you know, we are doing our best to counteract leaks and stuff. So I think this is a fair assessment of what happens. Well,
Damn.
this is a fair assessment of when the viewers come to watch. This is what you get, because while premieres are big deals, I think you should also look at, obviously finales, and the finale of this should do, fingers crossed, no issues, but like it should do this number plus more, because there's going to be a lot of attention about how they wrap this up, and every person that's attached to this series is saying we're going to get the fans what they want. And I know some of you all are speculating, some of you all fingers crossed, some of you all may just get Christmas canceled. I don't know, but there's going to be a lot of people looking.
What'd you say? No Amari not coming back. I said just no Ghost not coming back. He is not alive on the beach with Tupac in Cuba.
How you know though? How you know? Why you gonna crush people's feelings like that?
Ghost is not look. Okay. No. And I don't mean Ghost as in Ghost. Ghost may come back, but like not like he's alive and he's been away this whole time watching Tariq. I saw a power thread, and that literally was the argument that people was making. I hate power threads for you all for doing that to me, because I was so mad. I wanted to comment like, no, he's not been hiding out and watching his son go through turmoil and everything. Well, Yaz, because I don't think he cared about Tariq. He's not been watching Yaz go through turmoil and Big Mama drinking and beating her, and he been on the beach somewhere chilling.
I tell you, the more and more you said, the more and more I think it's a possibility. But I don't know. I digress.
I mean,
but
Amari may come back for something to recap a great thing, but not him being alive. That's what people are talking about more than anything else. That's what people folks is holding out their hope, because they holding out hope that the next spinoff is with the whole family reunited. I'm like, come on now.
I don't know.
Maybe Ghost come back and he leads Tariq down the path of righteousness. That would be dope. And he finishes the Queen Child's project, because God knows if that's not done soon, we have so many problems, Joe.
That's the hope you can
and name the building after Raina.
But good numbers for them and their premiere episode. We'll see what happens with the finale episode. And they got two finales. They got a part one finale, mid-season, and then mid-season. Then you got a part two premiere. So we'll just see. And then again, as we try to combat piratism and leaks and whatnot, I think again this is what you see when everybody just shows up the legitimate way. So nonetheless, let's get into support. That's it. Let's get into tonight's episode. Tonight's episode is Birthright. No interviews this week because holiday, and we're not going to be not going to be disturbing nobody's peace out here in freedom. We're going to let people get out there and do what they got to do. But
only one that was available was Gianni. Like, look, you don't need to celebrate.
Hell nah.
Everybody else needs to celebrate.
Damn well he did his best to get in one of those functions.
He had somebody cook out or somewhere. And they all calling him Brayden.
Let's get into we'll be back with interviews and stuff throughout the season. But let's get into tonight's episode, Birthright. So we're starting off with Tariq and Brayden, and they're on the dock, and it looks like that they're just stunting. If you ask me, that's what I thought. I was like, why they stunting? He got his car back, so now they want to do photo shoot. But nonetheless, no, we hear Tariq talking about he had to get all the 2-bit stuff out the car because they're selling the cars because they need money. So just as quick as Tariq get a car, he loses a car. That was my bet that he was only going to have it for one episode. I literally said that. I don't know if I said it on the show, but I know I said it.
Yeah, you said it on the show. You said one episode. He's going to have this car for one episode. Yep. I didn't give him a full episode either.
Yep. Sells his car, gets 10% deducted from dents and scratches. And it looks like Pinky is proven to be more of a resource than just somebody who can get some recon. Pinky has, I don't know, I won't say international connect, but they say they're putting those cars on a boat. I don't know what that means. I don't know what's the ramifications of that going forward, because as we like to break these episodes down, you want to think like everything is for something, because you could have easily took those to a chop shop and got significant top dollar.
You wouldn't have gotten the value for it. So what you do is
Brayden had a baby Benz. Let's just remember that right now.
Yeah, no. But I mean, keep in mind when she said I'm taking 10% off, she took 10% off of what the sticker value of those cars were. you ain't getting that from no chop. Ain't no chop shop in the world paying you that much. But what you do is when you see people do these with these cars, what they do is they change out the VIN number and sell them in other countries because they become more valuable. Because this is a car that somebody wants, they're willing to pay X amount for it.
Yeah, that's
we'll buy it from you, change the VIN number out, and keep it moving. Like it's actually a better transaction to get rid of cars that way if you have a connect like Pinky who can set you up with someone who's looking to make a move like that.
Yeah. And then just the one scene over or a short walk over, we see Pinky, Monet, and Tariq, and they are trying to put together the whole Kate Egan situation. Monet wants to know, like, yo, how did Kate get Tasha's address to send to Tommy so Tommy can go take out Tasha? And there is a very, very important clue in terms of the timelines here. Pinky says, I went over there and the house is empty, and it looks like it's been empty for a while. Any clue where Kate's at? Bahamas.
Well, no. Keep in mind though, and this
I'm joking before you go any further.
I was gonna bring it up to somebody who actually brought in the comments and said, why wouldn't they be able to talk to Kate? It's like, oh, you may have forgotten the end of Force last year. And I think a lot of people possibly have. Or was it last year, year before last? Force has been gone for such a long time. Yeah. A lot of people forgot that Kate was in a semi-coma, everything from overdose.
Yeah.
So one thing you're not going to find is her at that house.
Yeah.
But then the point that they're keeping up with that's the reveal of the timeline for me. Is like, oh, so if she's still in the hospital in a coma or worse, nobody would be in that house for them to see anything.
And I without even thinking too deep for me, all it says is she's in Chicago right now. So you have to think that last season now is truly overlapping with this season. And then also Force is did we talk about Force last episode about the announcement of Force? Episode. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, so you only had dive in that. But yeah, so yeah, to me, all it says is that, like, you know, Pinky understands that Kate's house, no Kate, no one's been there for a while. She's in Chicago, we know it. Whether she's in Chicago just being D-Max best Grammy ever, or she is in other health issues, i.e. the hospital because of the overdose, whatever it may be. Yeah. But we do, all that matters is that we understand that what we saw in last season of Force is concurrently happening right now in this season of Ghost. So yeah. All right, moving on. We have Kane and Effie. Effie's working on her essay for her application because she missed it because of her interview. Kane's there. They're just being cute with one another because, you know, Effie is still trying to stay studious, but also lets Kane know, like, hey, you know, I missed that whole interview because I was trying to save you, you know, and and he takes it normal in the Kane fashion, little cute gestures, but whatever. But Monet don't give a fuck about none of that because she texts him and say, "Where the fuck you at?" You know what? You know something that we haven't talked about a lot, nor have I actually really seen in terms of power discussion, is Monet is really taking this serious about who shot at her. This isn't just like regular,
she should take it seriously, extremely seriously.
Yeah, but I'll say for me in the beginning, it just felt like commentary where she was like, "Y'all need to find out who shot me," and that's that. But like, to me, it is surely but certainly building up more to be a very important thing. She's very serious about this. This isn't like a Diana go cook the chicken type of commentary, which she really meant too. But this is definitely
really meant that. She really meant that. As much as Lorenzo did when he said, "No, Mo, you go get the chicken." Like,
but nah, it's 1,000% like this is a serious factor, a serious manner for her. So all these little microaggressions is because she needs to get she really needs to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we get Drew and Diana in the kitchen. So one thing I do not have in my notes, but I'm thinking about, Monet did not fully overhear that conversation that they had last episode.
Yeah, she overheard some enough where she didn't trust them, because she brought that up to Tariq at the end of last episode, that she didn't trust her kids. So she heard enough where she didn't trust them, and that's what we were trying to say. She heard enough where it was kind of them snitching on themselves, because it took away her trust level for them. Because like, wait a minute, what y'all, the way y'all talking now, why would I trust that y'all even really looking for anything?
Yep. So Drew and Diana are talking, and we now get sort of understanding in terms of where the siblings are at in terms of killing Monet, where Diana says, well, I'm done trying to kill her, and Drew is not done. In fact, Drew is not only not done, but Drew is also trying to really establish his future. He wants to be the number 2 to Noma. He doesn't want to work under Kane. He understands that he's better than Kane. Everything that his dad knew is what he is starting to understand right now. So Diana wants out. Drew's like, that's not happening. But Drew's also trying to get out from under Monet. And Diana's like, well, that's also not happening.
Not happening.
So,
exactly.
And I love how they end this scene by saying we're going to see who gets what they want. Well, truly, that's truly something that we're going to have to see about how this plays out this season. It's who will get what they want. You said it's nobody.
No, we know by the end of this episode, it's nobody. Both of them wanted something, and neither one of them are going to get what they want.
True. I mean, Drew could still be. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that ended it right there.
Yeah,
ended it right there.
Dang.
No, Noma's not even being lied. We're gonna talk about later in this episode her illogical decisions in this entire episode. But that with Kane, that ended Drew's hope. Ain't like Drew can go back and do that to Noma.
Yeah. All right, so Davis and Perla. Davis and Perla now. Davis has been disbarred, and Davis's client. Davis' client is nobody but Davis's client. I know he's a white guy with a suit, and you start to think, is that who could it be? No. He's not from the Democratic Party. That's not he's not a Weston. He's not just Stern. He's none of that.
None of that. He's just a white man.
Just a client. And to me, this is so when I talked about the things I said which intrigued me this episode, because we gotta talk about these episodes regardless if we thought they were like really good or just subpar. I mean, to me, this only this episode. I mean, this episode. God, you keep throwing me off. I'm trying to listen to like what you're saying and get my thoughts together. Like, I can't triple task. I can't triple. I know
we've been doing this for too many years now.
I know. I'm not on my game tonight. This scene only just solidified our statement from episode 2 when we said we didn't get a chance to talk to Perla on the red carpet. But her being there clearly was an indication that this character is going to be significant. And I think this was just another episode to establish what Perla's relationship with Davis is, but also how Davis's operation in terms of being a lawyer can still proceed without him actually happening to do it. And she steps in sort of as that sort of, could it be pawn? Could it actually be organically a partnership? It's number 2.
We brought that up last episode. We say it's number 2.
Yep.
Because why would he trust her to handle his case unless that was his number 2?
Exactly.
And now we see why. Because he's very much speaking her up to anybody humanly possible. And we see what she does in this episode, which put more volition about what we were saying. Like, this ain't a character that's just going to come and go. That's not the way they were setting this character up. It's for that bigger reason. And maybe that's because Davis isn't going to get his license back. She's the perfect person to do it instead.
Yep. I also think on that note, like Davis may not want to get his license back after a while. I think there may be a means to him loving and desiring to get back to the streets. I think with him getting on that level with Tariq and seeing what Tariq is doing, I think he may get to a point where it's like he misses it too.
I give you the ultimate hot take. You combine Davis and Tariq. Who do you got?
I wish another season. I'll say that.
Oh shit! But you got ghosts. You combine them together, you have ghosts.
Yeah, it's true. I even think the car scene of them sitting in the what they're sitting in the car together felt very
Mhm.
reminiscent of like a typical Ghost scene, you know.
Yep.
Whether it was
Mhm.
Ghost talking to Tariq or was it Ghost talking to Tommy, even the Ghost and Kanan scene that time, it just felt it's very Power 101,
Yep.
Power-ish
Mhm.
101. But yeah, I agree. You put a Davis and Tariq together. I mean, that's Ghost for sure. And
Yeah.
Tariq was exploited in terms of why he is different from Ghost, which we'll talk about in probably just a scene or two. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, talking about Davis and Pearl, like they understand, like, listen, they're losing money out of the door on the, I guess you could say the legit way. You know, lawyers stuff has not been legit for Davis at all. But
Not at all.
they did establish that it will be a miracle if they can survive. Pearl, being proactive, says she's gonna go through the contacts to try to get ahead of this. Davis is thinking about trying to hit that joint later on tonight. But
Mhm.
randomly, Tariq shows up. Also, this is also a shot that Power don't typically do. This is I believe the formal name for this is a long shot. I feel like that's the
Yeah.
right name. But this
Mhm.
is this was absolutely the epitome of a long shot, because you could tell that the shot was supposed to transition. And they kept it, and then Tariq shows up, and I was like, I didn't expect Tariq to show up. One, and also I expect that scene to go as long as it did in the way they shot it. I'm not sure if there was some significance in terms of that though, because it's
Maybe
definitely
the
like a
aesthetics of it they like better. And it looked awesome to see that setup of his conversation ending with Perla and then immediately Tariq coming in,
yeah.
because it kind of shows that business is still going on.
Okay.
So at times you use those type of one shots just for that purpose. And the reason they're hard to do is because if you mess up at the beginning, you got to run that motherfucker all the way back. Or if you get all the way to the end and mess up, you got to run it all the way back to the beginning. That's why people don't like doing them.
Yeah.
But this looks like it was seamless without any cuts in it, which
Yeah.
from a director standpoint is a brilliant decision to pull off that shot.
I'm with you. So Tariq shows up, makes the jokes about downsizing. I will say this: that Michael Rainey and Method Man, you know, they were the first two to kind of get the interviews and the junkets going on this
Mhm,
season, and I thought that was an interesting choice, because I kept thinking like,
mhm.
well, how much of why them and not Brayden? Why not
Yeah,
Gianni and Michael
instead of Method
to
Man.
be lead instead of Method? And
Mhm.
I think it's because, and this, I don't know, maybe this is my hot take, but like, has Method made Tariq make Michael a better actor, or have they just grown to be so comfortable that they're really having great scenes together? Because the one thing I'm noticing about it is that, here's another hot take: some of these scenes that we're seeing feels very much like Omari and Michael. Like,
Yeah, I think
the
that's the goal.
maybe it is, and maybe it
Mhm.
is, because there's like certain, like, I don't. Maybe we can at this rate now. Michael definitely has the ability to improv a character he's been playing for X amount of
Definitely.
many years,
Yeah.
and there's definitely moments where you can tell like that's very improv. And we talked to them, and if you see in the interviews, you see that they riffed off each other very good. So when the moment of him coming in and saying, "Oh, you're downsizing," right, and like the little jokes and stuff that are going on behind, I'm like, yeah, that's not in the script. They're literally riffing on each other, which makes the one shot even more of a cool
Mhm.
idea, because you're like, oh, we can roll this because they got
Yeah.
this, you know.
Or
Um,
pay attention to how they're positioning Davis. That's what I paid attention to a lot in
mhm.
so far these 3 episodes. The way they're positioning Davis, it would almost feel like if we're getting another spinoff, he would be the character to spin off. Because they're positioning his storyline is being positioned at the forefront of this season. And you're wondering why. Why put him with Michael? Why line up this duo? That could possibly be the reason why. And as the season goes on, this Davis story becomes even more interesting. From him saying, I'm gonna be your backer, I'm getting into business with you. I don't see no other way where I can continue to be a lawyer because they're going to take everything from me. This is my way out.
Yeah.
It almost sounds like the same desperation that Ghost had, doesn't it?
Well, you put the two together, like you said. But you know, like you said, like Tariq comes in and says he wants back in. He needs to connect. and this is, I mean, this is truly Tariq's like bread and butter. Is Tariq absolutely knows how to work people, work himself into a situation, and he comes in like, I know you know a connect because those are the type of people you work with. So I know, as he said, I know you know a nigga or two, and then he says, like, I know somebody. I said, cool, but I'm taking 20%. And again, in terms of the improv, he said, man, you sound crazy. And he says, well, I might be. You know what I mean? Like, sure, you can write that.
Exactly.
Also, like, that also seems like, nah, let them do what they got to do. Here's the scenario. Here's the scene. Here's what needs to be accomplished. And I
There
just feel
you
like
go.
they just went at it. But you know, we'll talk a little bit more about that relationship towards the end. We get back to the Tejadas now. So Monet is aware that Noma says she does not need to be at work. Well, first of all, what did you think about that? Like
What
Noma
drug
not
dealer
only
has to? What drug dealer's boss
clock in.
calls her and says, "Hey, don't come to work today. Like you're fine. Just take the day off." Like you're a drug dealer. I'm
How
sorry.
many
I'd
how
like
many how many hours of PTO did she give her?
exactly. Noma gave her a mandatory 2 weeks of FMLA. Take that FMLA. Take and come back after you're fully healed.
And she might get workers' comp. She did get hurt on the
Hey,
job, you know.
exactly. Not Noma telling her we prepared the others. Just go ahead. Take off. We don't need you right now.
Oh man.
Oh man, that was
Monet
the
out here
funniest shit
looking
in the
like,
world to
oh,
me, Jeff.
these young kids gonna take my spot. I gotta get back in there. She feels that desperation because she knows only a mad time, but they're gonna end up. So we're gonna end up rehiring this position. But you know, Monet is very much wise to what's happening around her because she says she's starting to think that y'all must want me out the game. But with that all being said, Noma is texting Drew and Kane and says Obi's not responding. And what I thought was interesting is that who Noma decides to she didn't put that service out to everybody. She put out to just Drew and Kane. And I don't know. At one point, it seemed like they were all getting the same messages and whatnot. But now it feels like she's being very strategical in terms of who she talked to and the communications to them. Or maybe she feels like who's the most equipped for stuff.
I believe we've said this with other characters in power. Her organization doesn't seem as vast as we once thought it was. Because you're asking the newest of people that you brought in your organization to handle this. Like when you have had someone under Obi already that would be the person coming up to do this, and it wouldn't be one of them two who
you mean like
just threatened to kill?
You mean like the person at the door who let Davis in? who wasn't there when Kane came the next time?
Oh man, like her I am really questioning Noma's organizational skills here. Like she's clearly a killer and she knows what she's doing, but boy, I mean, you don't put Moe on FMLA. Now you got random people just showing up places. Like the organization ain't organization right now for Noma. That's what's going on here.
Yeah, so Drew and Kane, they leave because Kane says to Drew, you're not special, you got it too. And Diana's there asking, Mom, you okay? She says no. But anyway, Obi was locked up. He's hanging out there with Detective Don Carter, who held him there overnight. So we'll feel, Don Carter's trying his tactics in order to get stuff out of Obi, but Obi's keeping the G. But then it turns the conversation back to the green cars, and they found out that the green cars came with the Congressman Tate pushing it forward. But Obi says he had nothing to do with it. Then he asked about Tariq. He says, well, it seems to be the common denominator is Tariq, and he says he's unfamiliar with Tariq. And then he says, how do you explain these photos of you and Tariq? And then he says he wished to make some phone call, which in this case, he's asking for a lawyer, or what you thought he was, but in this case, he was just stalling. And he says, you're not under arrest yet. And we see him tossing the folder of paper away. And there's a lot here that you can scratch your head about. So let's start off with you on that note. What worked and what didn't work here?
Ain't no way in 4 hells you gonna tell me I'm not under arrest and I'm still sitting in this chair. You lost your motherfucking mind, Joe. Because at this point, I'm going to make you detain me. That's how I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make you officially say I'm under arrest. That's the only way this will work. Next point. Why the fuck are you calling your brother and not calling like Noma? Hey, by the way, as I was leaving out after you and Kane put me out, I got arrested. Like the point that he did none of that makes no sense.
Yeah.
And again, back to these fucking green cards. A congressman pushed through your green card. Nigga, we're not having no more discussions then.
Yeah.
Because he got as much skin in the game as I do. And I don't care what you think, sir. Like and then the cop. I'm already sick of this cop. Okay, he's going down the same alley of all power cops.
You think so? You think so?
Yeah, I am sick of this nigga already. I am tired of, if I got to deal with one more J. Jonah Jameson ass cop, where is Spider-Man? Everything is about Tariq. It ain't about nobody else here, Joe. Like, no one else is guilty here. He's even thinking Tariq is running this drug organization. He's not thinking it's somebody above him. Like, I'm not saying the scene didn't work in the show, because it does work in the show, and it makes perfectly good sense exactly what was happening. But this is one of the scenes you watch, and you'd be like, nigga, just get up and leave. They didn't even give you the burger and the cigarette and the Coke. You don't got to stay for nothing.
I will say, to play devil's advocate, maybe because Obi is a foreigner, that
some green cards got him shook.
It could be. I think that's a good reason for him to be very cautious about what happens, but also maybe he doesn't actually know his rights, because.
And here will be the problem. Sir, you are an international drug dealer. You know what all of them know? The rights of whatever country that they go to. Because the point he asks for a lawyer and asks, am I under arrest? Said you knew your rights would say, nigga, I don't need to be here if you're not arresting me. Obi's fear was, then he would flip it and say, I'm going to arrest you, or I'm going to say something about these green cards. The moment he told you he knew how you got them, it took away all his leverage.
Yeah.
So you're telling me a congressman pushed this through, and you're going to go back to that congressman and say something? Dog, you are a police officer. You know what you ain't going to do? Say something to a congressman about pushing green cards, because Tate is going to deflect you as quick as humanly possible. At that point, that's what Obi was supposed to say. Yeah, I'm leaving. Like, call whoever you want to. Unless you are officially arresting me, I'm leaving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did he call Davis?
Why
did he call Noma? I
know. Because he's always been paranoid of Noma, and the green cards thing is not a conversation he wanted to have with Noma. So I can see why he did not call Noma. But Davis makes, I think, sense. I gotta kind of think about what their relationship is. But I don't know. Regardless, make no calls. Hot tail out of there. Soon as that, I mean, oh boy. But I'll say this:
walk out this motherfucker if you tell me I'm not under arrest. You done lost your mind. You think I'm staying here?
I say this though, that Pearl coming in and kind of talking about the optics of all of this is interesting. And it just shows you just how in depth this could have got, should I say? But it did bring a perspective of options, and I think that like he should have never been there. It was an unlawful arrest, unlawful detention.
Yeah,
detaining.
And that's the key part. It's an unlawful detainment.
Yeah,
like, know your rights, folks out there. Yeah. They can't just say we're gonna leave you. You've lost your mind. Kiss my ass.
Yeah. I don't know, but don't matter because my man
in DC used to do this all the time to people. Just understand that. I learned as a youth, what you ain't gonna do is tell me you keeping me here for no reason, because I'm way more afraid of my mama than you. So you're gonna let me go because I need to be home by a certain time.
It don't even matter now because my man Obi's in Gangsta's Paradise, so he ain't got to worry about no rights there. But I will say that Don Carter with the what's the word I want to use here, with the okey doke, not having the photos, man, that's just typical copisms. We ain't seen it in Power though. We ain't seen him play like that in Power yet, have we?
Blanca pulled off a couple of them tricks. Blanca pulled off a couple of them tricks. I mean, it's a smart move, but it's a smart move because Obi blinked. This is why you don't blink when you get arrested, and because he could have easily said when he slid down with these pictures with Tariq, Obi could have literally said, "I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah,
because ain't no pictures with somebody I don't know.
Yeah.
Instead, he got shook and said, "I need to make a phone call."
Yeah.
No,
that's the only place he. Yeah, that's the only place he messed up at, is that he didn't have enough time to identify if he actually had photos with him or not.
Exactly. Yeah. That was the key part there. And we ain't gonna act like, and I don't mean to sound racist, and it's not racist to say this, but we're not gonna act like a certain community of our fellow African brethren have not been caught in enough law enforcement things where they should know the rights that they have. And he's Nigerian. Like, come on, Joe. Every Nigerian who I know, and I got a lot of Nigerian brothers who work with me, and they know the law better than me. They'd be like, no.
They know how to swindle. They know how to swindle,
That's
unlike anyone else.
That's how they know
it. Hey, Obi definitely didn't live up to his nationality. He should he for whatever
Cameroon.
reason he should have
left
left
from Nigeria the way he acted.
Yeah,
that's a Cameroon. I know Cameroon, motherfucker. When I meet one, we're not from Nigeria, sir.
All right, so we get Davis, Tariq and Brayden, because they're at this underground little fight club. And a very interesting cameo with Dougie Fresh as the announcer here. But this is more or less about Davis introducing Brayden and Tariq to a connect he has, and that's Zion. Zion's a character newly introduced here. But Zion is no stranger to the St. Patrick last name. So Tariq brings enough money to get 12 bricks. Zion was not impressed, as he says, "You little cocky motherfucker." And he says, "My minimum is 15. And even if I was going to give you that, I don't have any slots available." I will say this, that Zion's introduction is interesting. I can't help but to think, like, well, how long do we got with this character? Because we don't got that many episodes left. But I will say, you never know where these characters may end up at next. So I gotta reprogram that thinking and saying this is the end it goes, but this may not be the end of these characters. As 2-Bit just showed up. So he just, and I know 2-Bit was in Ghost earlier, but like, yeah, exactly. But what's interesting with Zion is before we get to that, what did you think about Zion and how he's operating his business? He has an underground fight club, so he's running that.
Psychopath.
He has slots available for distro and 15 minimum. 15 bricks minimums is how you do business.
Every word he said made it sound like he's an incredible middleman. That's what it sounded like. Because if you got a brick minimum, that means you need to move a certain amount of bricks to have a brick minimum for someone to buy in. So who the hell are you working for that they told you this is the minimum you need to move per week? So I'm not taking 12. You got to be 15. Like that you're an incredible middleman, but there's clearly somebody above you, and that's your supplier. And what is the supplier what limitations is that supplier putting on him? Because other than that, he would be a complete psychopath. Like, I don't know if I would want to partner with a nigga who runs a fight club. No, like it's bad enough who's selling drugs. Now I gotta deal with you killing niggas and fighting and all this stuff. No, not at all. But his introduction was great because one, again, it shows Davis's connections. I am in my mind, I am in tune right now that Davis is going to be on the spinoff. And what they're showing you is a different side of power with Davis right now. Boy, he knows so many people in the underbelly, and he knows so many of these criminal connects. That's a completely different relationship than we've ever seen in Power before. That he can introduce this, and he's using, as he said to Tariq in this scene, which is very pivotal, your last name got you in the door.
Yeah.
You need to start using it. Because that's something we have not talked about, because that's something Tariq refuses to use, is that he's Ghost's son.
Yeah, I also think, just on that note, is because they didn't want this show to just be strictly about James St. Patrick. It was always about Tariq, and I think over time that they needed to get to a point where the two collided, where we saw traces of James and Tariq. But I don't think they wanted that to just be the driving factor. So that's why I don't think a lot of the commentary about you're like your father and I know your last name and da. I think it was more or less about Tariq's life after James. Tasha in the shadows, she couldn't appear at any time, but it was just truly about Tariq. And it wasn't about like this, it wasn't about the spinoff of Ghost's son. And it was just about his legacy as being Ghost's son. I think it was really about establishing Tariq.
I think that's the key element of bringing this up now in this season, and where this could possibly take us to, is because technically in the line of business that he's in, you are only as feared as the name that you carry.
Yeah.
And he had to realize, and the point they've taken 4 years to get here is a beautiful thing, that maybe Tariq is finally starting to realize the name is what I need to use.
Yeah.
That Tariq St. Patrick's carries more weight than anything I could ever do.
Yeah.
Because in the streets, you want that connection. Would we know, or would Little Meech have a job if his name wasn't Little Meech? No. Like, it's for a reason. Like, if your dad rung bells, or if someone in your family rung a bell to the point that everyone knows who that person is, you do want to establish yourself as a man separate from that. But then when you think you're at that point enough, you tend to use that name, because that name can open up doors. And I love the point that Davis told him, that like, this name is opening up a door for you. You may don't like him, you may hate him, but you got to use him.
Yeah.
Which is true. Yeah. I mean, we see it all the time. Nepotism is a thing.
Yeah.
No matter how we want to view it in the world, nepotism is a huge thing. On the way that we done seen directors come out the blue because they daddy was a director. We done seen actors come out the blue because they daddy was an actor.
Shade. Like, you trying to say that
I didn't say nobody. I'm just bringing that up as something that happens.
Yeah.
I did not name a single person, but we know for a fact that John David Washington got a job because he Denzel's son. Like, we know this. Like, he sounds just like Denzel. It's perfect. And that don't mean you don't have to have talent, but that means even your talent can get you to a place, but your name can push it further, and use that name, but still show like, hey, I may be a St. Patrick, but I'm not my father. But damn it, if I'm not gonna carry on this name, to let y'all know this name still ring in these streets, type thing.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going now. So after that, though, Zion wasn't willing to do business initially, so he knocks all their money on the ground. But he did. He talked about it. It's just like, listen, like, we're full over here, but I know you. I know your last name. And the one thing about your last name is that your dad, he would have solved the problem before it became a problem. He said, I think it's crazy. You also got a white boy too. And he looks at Brayden and says, are you as crazy as Tommy? I at this rate now, is there a connection? There's some history. Sure. Why not? But I also think what's important is understand that Ghost and Tommy, they're legends in New York. Everybody knows about them. And you talked about the other stuff as they pick up their money off the ground, but he also sees the money, the bags that was left on the table, and they snagged them. I'm confused here. Was there not going to be no initial consequences for them taking those bags off the table that was left there for a reason?
Remember that I thought the little dude threw them at them as like samples. That's what I took it as, because them look like 5 Nick bags. Like, who the fuck takes a? Why are you carrying around a Nick bag at all unless it's a sample bag?
Yeah,
I thought that was a sample bag to sample what they had, but then Tariq flips it, and Tariq does his Tariq thing, which is a very smart way of saying that man told you. Your dad would have found a way out of this problem before it became a problem. And I'd be damned if Tariq didn't take that to heart, like, oh no, I'm not him. But boy, I can find a way to make a solution out of this problem.
Yeah. Nah, that's a fact for sure. All right, getting to the next thing now. So we get Obi making calls. He calls his brother. Drew's over there. Drew's gonna be the one to pick him up. But Obi's brother mentioned about thanking him for the green cards and whatnot. And Drew puts 1 and 2 together really quickly and says, "Wait, when did you get here?" And this is just Drew establishing that, one, we didn't help you with those green cards, which only what we don't see on screen is Drew obviously had to have a conversation with Kane and establish the timeline about this and like who could have been involved. And obviously him dropping that he knows that the Councilman Tate has something to do with this, and he said, Councilman Tate, well, who's connected with him, and like that doesn't take a lot of investigation, because if one of us was besties with the president, you would be like, I always see them running tight together. Tariq being next to Councilman Tate is something that you just will not ever overlook, because you're gonna be like, that's some kid that's been in a lot of trouble hanging with the councilman that's getting ready to run for...
get out of it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
If we knew, I would be with Papa Joe every day, every fucking day, every day.
So yeah. What did you think about this whole thing? Because I feel like you had a problem with this here.
Nah, I like this scene.
Okay.
I absolutely love this scene. I hated that Obi made that call. I hate the point that he kept his brother in the dark because he was terrified to let him know the business that he was in. But this is another thing about power. It's the duality of it all with this show, is that we always have tragic things happen when you leave people in the dark who you shouldn't. Like Obi's a drug dealer, a murderer, and it almost feels like his brother knows nothing of his business.
Yeah.
So he feels free, like he can talk about anything. That's why you can't leave folks in the dark, in all honesty. Like all of that, I need to hide this from my family when I'm doing. No, you need to tell them, because then you don't get these slip-ups.
Right.
Because the brother knew it was a slip-up when Drew asked a follow-up question. And you saw the brother's face like, oh, I did something wrong. But it's too late at that point.
You think the brother felt that way?
Oh, his facial expression was like, when Drew said, hold up, when did you get here? You not asking me that if you got my green card. I know something is wrong. I slipped up some way because I gave you information you didn't have. And his brother's face in that scene looks like, oh, shit. I told you something you didn't know. And
you know what?
That don't mean he knows that Obi's dirty. Huh?
I did not. I honestly did not see that. I thought the...
Yeah.
So listen, the brother...
The moment I looked at his face, I picked up that. Man.
I say the brother... Listen, it's going to sound ignorant, but I'm going to say what it is. The brother is fresh off the boat. He's just happy to be here.
No, 1,000% so. 1,000% so. But you know when you fucked up. Because you know
I don't think he does. I think he's just kind of like, everybody's so nice to me.
No. I think even no matter where you're from, you can sense when an extra question is asked that you know shouldn't be asked.
It's a horrible follow-up question too. Like that question was not discreet at all.
Triggered immediately. Because Drew's look like, huh? What? Hold up. When did you get here? Oh, well, nigga, why you asking me like that? Oh shit, I did something wrong, because you're not supposed to. And the brother, if you go back and look, or anybody here, if you go back and look at that scene and look at the brother's face when Drew asks that question, that face says, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I know I fucked up face. Like that face said, I fucked up. And I think that was the trigger of saying shit. But that's why you don't leave people in the dark, man. Like, for certain people, you have to tell them, fuck it. If you got over here because I'm dirty, guess what, motherfucker? You're not there anymore. You're here. Fruits of my labor. Like, you need to know what the business I'm in. You need to know to shut the fuck up. This ain't for everybody to know.
Yeah, for me, I got to be honest. Like, I really think he just was just kind of happy to
I want
be
you to go
there,
back.
and he
I want you
wasn't
to,
aware.
like the audience did, like I'm telling the audience to do. I want you to go back, see that scene again, and I guarantee when you look at his face, you're gonna be like, "Yeah, that's the face of I fucked up." We watch enough horror movies where we know that look when the killer's in a room, and you're like, "Uh-oh." That's the look on her brother's face.
Hey, it's completely hilarious to me because I just keep thinking like my man was just happy to be here, man. He didn't want no smoke.
America, it is so lovely here. Like he's all of that.
Yo, my man, listen, my man is here. He got some things he wants to do in life. He wants to go American viral one time. That's his whole goal.
I ain't even gonna lie. I thought this thing was gonna go completely the other way. I thought he was gonna hit on Drew, and then I thought that was gonna be a thing. And so when it turned into what it did, and Drew asked that follow up, I knew then, and the facial expression told me, "Oh yeah, you done fucked up big time."
I say this, man, about Lavelle. I'll be honest, if Lavelle was saying like, man, I done gave y'all everything y'all wanted in these first 3 seasons, maybe he has more of a, especially so he doesn't get typecast, maybe he had more input in terms of what happens with this character so that he was more established as the killer. The crazy thing about it is that if he pitched that, it works because that's always been the case. People just couldn't get around the sexuality of the character. But like, there's been nothing about love with this character. He's gotten that 3 seasons now. Yeah. He's a straight up killer. I actually would have been a little deflated if they would have went that the typical route here. I think it's good to see him just be completely motivated in terms of wanting to be the number one, the number two. Anyway, Davis and Drew get out there because I'm sorry, Drew called him to get help for Obi, but he sends Perla instead because he obviously can't
be a lawyer.
Yep. Diana Monet. So Diana's helping Monet, and Monet wants to know. Monet asked Diana about the Kate Egan thing, and here's where we see Diana can't stay still, and she's kind of being fidgety. She's being fidgety.
That's autism tick, it looks like
it is not, though. It is just because she's like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that to somebody who has TS, man. Don't do that.
No. The tick was in her hands. It was like she was stimming.
No, it's because she was lying. That's the thing. Yes. And you know, and that ain't nothing but a nerve going off, letting you know that. And you know, here's what's important about this. And like, there's a lot that they explained. They explained obviously in 2 scenes here, but we understand that Diana's not a good liar because. And even if she's not, she's been trained to be a liar. Wasn't good a liar because she's not actually holding liar like tactics or traits. Because we just learned 1 episode ago what makes Tariq such a good liar because he can control his breathing, his posture, and everything. And Diana has never ever. There's never been a discussion of them being the same. Yeah. But in case we're just making all this up, 1 scene after that, we get to see young Monet, young Drew. And young Diana, as Monet had her kids. All right, what did you think about this?
Look, in 2 scenes, we learned that Diana can't lie and that Monet is the worst mother in power history. We learned that in 2 episodes. I don't care how bad you may think Rock is because she taught Kanan how to cook crack after Kanan wanted to cook crack. Monet had her 5-year-old and maybe 4-year-old backing up coke. Are you fucking? Because she was too tired. She looked at her kids.
Amazing mother, great mother.
Chinese got something with these kids and these labor laws. Look here, y'all get over here and cut this coke for me.
I mean,
oh my! Here's the more fucked up part for people that don't know. Because while she's trying to put in the money so they can dump it in a bag, right? Cocaine seeps through your pores. These are children. They had to be high as a motherfucker. Because ain't Ain't no way you gonna put that much coat onto $1 and then not touch your skin at all. It immediately absorbs in your skin. That's why you don't do this shit without gloves. That's the dumbest shit in the world. And she let her kids do it and then sent them outside and didn't even say, wash your hands to get the coke off of you. Nope. She like, take your little high asses outside. And then that's when Diana started stimming, when she had to tell a lie. Like this was a horrible scene for Monet. I feel no sympathy now for Monet. They should have killed you. Like, you taught Diana and them to bag up crack. Where was Kane? Because this was Diana and Drew bagging up the crack.
Oh, guys, Kane was out on the corner working at this rate. I mean, what else could you expect?
But literally,
a few options
the
here.
Issue that Lorenzo had when he said, if you get our kids involved in this, Mo, you're going to go down the slippery slope. And we see the slope that she went down.
Yep. It's
horrible. It's the worst mother. Kay Egan ain't got shit on Monet. Like, he gave away JP, and yes, she did drugs, but she didn't make Tommy do drugs and bag up her drugs. Like, this was a new low. I've never thought we would get this far with Monet, where we see her having her toddlers bagging up coke for her. That's different, Joe.
Now, the other question is, maybe we can speculate here. Was Lorenzo and Kane out working? Was that it? Was that what was happening? Because Lorenzo wasn't there too.
Lorenzo this whole time wanted to keep his kids separate. He didn't want them to do anything with this.
You're absolutely right.
Here's the biggest thing. We now understand that Zeke was the luckiest kid of them all. Because he was in Carolina. He didn't have to bag up coke like his brothers and sisters had to. Like, Zeke had a real childhood. Like, they are the drug version of the Jacksons with Monet. But at least Zeke had a real childhood. He was able to go and do the swing sets and all this other shit. Diana and Drew was coked up going outside to play. This is fucking ridiculous, Joe. That's all I thought. I said, I can't believe they are showing these kids. This is worse than when Terrence Howard threw Juicy Smollett in a trash can on Empire. Like, this is ridiculous.
Nah, real talk. Almost called CPS.
So, and not trigger me because my parents did anything of this nature, but just trigger me like someone would do.
Yeah, I'm almost go CPS watching this scene. This didn't sit right with my soul. All this was wrong.
But I give them credit for going there in this flashback scene to show her forcing her toddlers to bag up coke. I hope it was coke and not crack, because damn. But they weren't rocks. It was pure powder, so it had to be coke or heroin.
All right, let's get through a lot more of this episode to go here. One other thing I was going to really say is, like, continue to see young Monet only makes me think that they're going to be using this character in some other property down the line. I mean, even in this flashback, they gave this more time than the actual current time of Diana with her fidgeting. I know they had to establish why and how Monet raised them as kids and how she was able to detect when they're lying and whatnot, but like, that's a lot of emphasis on young Monet and her kids throughout the first 3 episodes here. So now we get Diana. We're going back to the scene. Diana is asking who's Kay Egan, and Monet basically dismisses it, but that's just her really come to the realization that her kids have been lying to her. Brayden and Tariq, they need to get in with Zion, but they need to get rid of one of his men. But then Becca tells Brayden to come to her room. We'll go back to that in 1 second. We go back to the NYPD office in Perler versus Don Carter. We talked about this, though, about really just the optics of the OB arrest and, the laws that was definitely not obeyed here.
But Drew, they don't exist. How but that you lock up a Nigerian like nothing, no one would care. Like, so black on black crime, no one's gonna care. No one's gonna care.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So Drew's outside waiting for him, and Drew is now campaigning to like really pick up on all of Obi's slack. He wants to be treated. He doesn't want to be treated like a corner boy no more. He wants to get more respect. But Obi wants to keep the plan between them two because he doesn't want Noma to find out, and they have a gentleman's handshake. But it's truly about Drew wanting to really move up in lines and just actually also get like more respect. But we get Becca and Brayden. I don't know why this scene had to be in there, so I'm definitely interested in your thoughts about this. But she's high off coke, and she needs cash, and she has to move out of the room. First, to me, I just think like they're just making sure that we know exactly what's happening to all the characters. Every character that has any type of relevance, they're just checking the boxes now. Like, we need to get that person in, we need to get that person in. So we know that Becca is getting ready to feeling the effects of the family not having the money that they used to have. Her and the Weston's name has been disgraced. Looks like she has to move that dorm, but she needs Brayden. And I guess it's to establish that Brayden is still going to protect his sister one way or another and try to supply for her. But is there anything else with that? Because I'm like, why?
White privilege.
I guess, yeah.
She literally's crying because she got to go to another dorm. Another dorm. Not like Tariq, who had to get 3 jobs.
Yeah.
To keep going to the school. And Becca's crying because I got to go to another dorm. Like, I can't. Oh, God, I can't believe. Where's my Coke? Where's my Coke? Where's my Lincoln Park and my Coke? Yeah. I can't believe I got to go to another. Come on now.
And her roommate's Diana.
What's Diana at? Diana pregnant in college. She's selling Coke. Becca doing Coke. Like they are just so dysfunctional. They are the opposite of Tariq. They like Jessica Alba and Gabrielle Union when they did that Bad Boy spinoff TV show. That's like Diana and Becca here, Joe. It's the opposite of Tariq and Brayden in every way.
Diana's just working her little slave job that the colleges be making you work in order to pay your
Becca's complaining because we got to go to a different dorm room, so I don't get this extravagant dorm room that we're in now because I can't have the Weston name. I think this is just to establish just how far down the Westons have fallen.
Yeah.
And how the kids are now having to deal with not necessarily Brayden, but I want to say Trace and Becca having to deal with this backlash more than Brayden.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So Noma now is finally being able to catch up with Obi because Obi says he was arrested by ICE. That's why he was unable to communicate with Noma. And he gives this whole explanation as to why Drew was asked to validate this by Noma. But right after that, though, Drew completely flips on Obi and brings up about the green card and what they were able to put together about the green card. Because he said, like, I got this information about your brother, about that. And brother saying he got it from Tate, and he said, "Well, I didn't help you get these, and neither did Kane, and I don't know Tate. The only person that knows Tate is Tariq, and thus Tariq and Obi having a connection. And this is how Noma puts together that is this how Tariq was able to elude being killed. And so, with that being said, she questions about him losing his focus, and he looks her in the face and says, "I never lose focus, only to be killed." By Noma. He calls her the devil, and he doesn't even try to stop himself from bleeding. I think he died a very admirable death.
Yeah.
And Noma looks over and says, "Good work to everybody." What did you think about this scene of Obi, a character I had hoped for more, but I think it's fitting how this story ended.
Hey, you live by it, you die by it. And Obi took that to the end with him. Yeah. Because that's why he didn't fight it. Like, I lived this life. And I know the things I've done, and I know the edge that I've always lived on. But at least I got my brother where he needed to be.
Okay.
That's, I think, Obi's thinking. At least he's where he needs to be. If it takes my life for him to be here, I'm perfectly fine with that. He's still mad at Drew because Drew, that was a pussy move by Drew. But we know how Drew is.
Yeah.
Like, Drew, we knew this was going to, which is weird, though, because technically Drew lied to Noma.
Yeah.
By saying he got arrested by ICE. What happens when she finds out that's a lie? Like, Drew didn't fully think this through. If Noma finds out, not only did Obi not get arrested by ICE, But you picked him up at the precinct. He got arrested by a regular cop who's after a drug organization, and you didn't share any of this information. So you are just as deceitful as Obi was.
You also don't think that like she cannot also just retaliate against his brother as well too?
Here's the weird part. I don't think she cares. Noma is unhinged in the way her actions are here. Because in the end, yeah, you disobeyed me a little bit. You're a little crooked, but like Obi is the one who you would have assumed by this point she has the most trust in.
Yeah.
Because in the end, he still was going to look out for her, even if she was dead ass wrong.
Yeah.
And then you kill that person. And this is why now we see that you don't even have who the hell is your number 2?
That random guy that opened up the door for David.
Exactly. Who's picking up your daughter? Like, who are these niggas that's this randomly here? Then now all of a sudden they're your number 1 and 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So you made the Tejadas after crossing their mom. So vital to your organization that technically they could take you out.
Yeah, but she whipped Kane down. But listen, I'll say this though. Noma it's always been about loyalty. Obi has definitely not been loyal, and it was only a matter of time before Obi potentially got to her first. So, I think in that withering thought, I think she acted in the way she felt was best without even thinking about the long-term.
Obi should have snitched. He should have gave that shit up right there.
He was still loyal, man. He just was loyal enough to
the end.
Yeah.
Sometimes you shouldn't be loyal. Let this be a lesson, children. Sometimes you shouldn't be loyal to everybody.
You saying get off the Titanic?
Hey, fuck Rose. Kick that bitch off of the thing. No. Sometimes it does not pay to be loyal.
It's no movie if we don't have that. So, Jack, thank you for your services, sir.
No. You got Jack there talking about it's been 84 years.
Oh, man. All right. Classroom scene, classroom things. So now, Effie and Tariq with the agenda for the classroom was leave the people or leave for yourself. But we get Effie and Tariq because Tariq want to know about, well, he sees some product on campus. Does he really? But no, he plants it with Effie. They want to know if it's Effie's he's doing this and letting her know that there's going to be competition around here. So, he set a plant in order to get things going. Diana and Brashandria, because Diana's looking at her phone, get her phone knocked over. Brashandria picks up the phone and notices that Diana is looking up things about being pregnant. And she says she vows to be there for her. Noma and Kane. Kane comes in and says, "Can I ask you something?" I love how Noma kept it 100 with her and says, I don't do stupid questions.
I don't do stupid questions.
But he wants to know why you're not letting Monet back at work. And I thought this was a stupid rebuttal from her too. So I feel like I got some type of like something connection. I was like, yeah, that's his mother.
His mama. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
What the fuck did you think? I think you and your daughter have a special connection. Like, are you crazy? Like,
you know what I mean?
That's his mama. Are you gonna ever get off the tit? No, nigga. Never. Like, that's always a connection there.
Yeah.
She's her second born. I'm about to say her firstborn. That's her second. I don't know. It's one of her children. That's all that matters.
It's her firstborn. Kane's number one. But nonetheless, he wants a promotion, and then she asks him, "Are you qualified to step up?"
Yeah.
And all this happens, all of that conversation, just to kind of see them tug at one another. And they get close. It looks a little steamy. Effie comes in. Effie does not acknowledge Kane, and if you had to wait to the later part of the episode to understand that Effie was hip, all you need to do is read the body language. She did not acknowledge the person she's been smooching on for the last few days here.
Mm-hmm.
So she's seen it and she gonna have something to say about it later. So there's that.
Mm-hmm.
We get Janet and Monet, and I don't know if this is just a scene to kind of write off Golden Brooks for the episode, but we know that they've been a thing since they were younger, and maybe Janet always envy Monet because she talks about her $30,000 Louis coat, and Monet says, "Nah, that's me. You're not getting that." But she does get her right with something else. So, Monet said, "Forget all that Jesus talking here. Get out of here. You talk too much," and gave her something, and that was that until later. But then Noma is there, and she is they're talk about the new that they're talking about the new somebody who's now in their territory essentially, and that happens to be Jerome. They said Jerome's not a threat, but nonetheless you need to take him off the board. So that's Effie, and that's Effie, Noma, and Drew, who's looking at the new baggie with the new design on it. I don't know, that design's like a laurel, that's what it's called. And at that rate they say you need to get them off the board. But then the daughter comes in, the daughter and Anya's just peeping game. Anya's 19, Nova's in mama mode, but Anya's kind of looking around, trying to figure out what's going on with everything. Kane, we see Kane rolling up on one of the corner boys. What is his name? Bird? I don't know. Asking about Roman and want to know where Roman's next re-up is going to be. And Bird, much like his nickname, my man sung.
Oh, just like one. Fucking parakeet, Joe. Gave him everything. I know how to say you shouldn't be loyal to everybody. This is a situation where you could have been loyal to the person. Like there was no need to snitch. No need at all, Joe.
Oh boy.
Why do everybody know where everybody re-up at? Do they got like a GPS locator on everybody?
It's an app. It's an app. It's definitely an app for
exactly.
It. Yeah.
Fucking rideshare re-up spots, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Like this makes no sense that he would know where his boss is reeing up at. Are you fucking crazy? You wouldn't even know when I read up, let alone where I'm reeing up at. That is none of your concern, sir.
All right, let's get these last few things now. So Monet at the bar, because let's not forget that she had a bar, but they're just drinking and whatnot. And then Monet just talking about like Dan. She has discovered that Dan is lying to her, but can't figure out why. And well, Janet says, well, you know why. They're your daughters, number one, but also you know how you raised them. They're your kids, number one. You know how you raised them, and so on. So, yeah, I think again, as much as we talk about characters getting closure, I think we getting location closure too. I don't think we're seeing this bar no more. Just in case you forgot that she had one.
During this scene where Monet said at the end, she said, "I know I taught them to be loyal, but I didn't think that would be without me." Yeah, because clearly the siblings are loyal to each other, and that's not what as I was having them bag up my coke when they were toddlers. I wanted them to be loyal to me, not to each other.
Man. Oh man.
Yeah, this is the end of Monet's bar. I love the way Janet said, "You see this woman over here play some Prince, nigga? This is my bar."
All right, so we see Kane rolling up to destroy that next re-up. We see Kamal showing back up, Kamal Tate, and now we're having a cop to cop here with Kamal, with Don Carter, and then Felicia Lewis, who worked under Don Carter. But they're just putting together everything, asking about the green cards. They talk about the hit of the van they got in the Bronx. And then, Don Carter instantly understands that this means that there's a drug war getting ready to pop up. But also, I think what was important that Kamal was establishing that this task force has jurisdiction over all the drug activity in the city, so they can move all around. We don't have to get too deep into, how how the policing is done, because we see now that they can go any and everywhere. So, a little bit of I think it's a lot of. I think this was like a lot of stuff in order to establish that.
There's no limitations to where they can go.
Yeah,
like they can go everywhere. Brooklyn
could have been
Harlem,
a conversation. Could have been a conversation. It didn't have to be like a whole scene with something in the Bronx, but whatever. And on the scene though, they just established that they feel like this was targeted. Then after that, Davis texts Tariq and says Roman and his price, and oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting this all confused. Roman Price, because that's his name, was taking out his trash in the middle of the night when the cops rolled out on him. He was talking about he lost about 30 G's from that, but they arrest him, which means he's going to go to jail, and they're going to try to make him connect him back to Zion and all this other stuff. And Zion's going to connect to Davis, and Tariq's going to be seen at this club. There's going to be a raid in the club. I can see this from a mile away.
We know where this is going back to.
Yeah.
I want Spider-Man. Ain't he got said, you already know where this is going back to. Yeah. It's all going back to Tariq is running this drug organization, and he must be stopped.
Yep. Now not only just a drug organization, but a drug underground illegal operation organization that involves illegal fighting, illegal betting, an illegal liquor license. He's gonna get. Hey, matter of fact,
everything you can think of underground
Kingpin statue. He's everything
done. Underground is under Tariq. Tariq has done it all. Tariq is doing it all that. All illegal money, all that. Lycans, vampires. He got everything under there, Joe. And it's all Tariq's fault. It's all Tariq's fault. That's all you need to know. It's all Tariq's fault.
Back to school, Brayden and Tariq. Brayden talking about he feel bad for Becca. Tariq doesn't care about that. Now that Zion has a slot open, they need to get $300K for him. But anyway, Tariq establishing how Tariq is explaining how he established that fake trail back to Roman and what he did for Effie. And, he says he just does what he has to do. And he tells Brayden to put the books back, and Brayden says he doesn't even go there no more. But Davis and Tariq, Davis is getting divorced. So if everybody's asking about his wife, did you go? See what's happening with that?
Nice closeout. Nice closeout there.
Very simple. Just like the whole jurisdiction thing. Just simple. One little shot of something. That's it. But nonetheless, Tariq says he's 50K short. This is, again, the two actors, I think, working really good with one another, ripping off one another. But he says, David says, I'll front you the money. He says, I think that's crazy that you would say that, but here they are. And he says, man, my soon ex-wife going to be taking half, and Jenny took the rest. So he says, I got to do what I got to do. He said, this is why I'm doing this. You need to, why are you doing this? And then Tariq says, I can't live with everybody making choices without the choices being mine. He says, that's just not my character. And now they just got to make sure that Noma doesn't find out what they got going on. Oh, a little bit more, folks, a little bit more. Kane and Effie, I tell you what, for 3 episodes, Kane has been saying the same sentence over and over and over about things not adding up. And he's been right about all of it. So
everybody dismisses him like he's an idiot.
You know what's funny? You can really, really tell how different this season is, because while there is progressions and you're telling complete arcs with some of these characters, but stupid Kane hasn't been stupid, and queer Drew hasn't been queer.
Yeah, there you go. Growth.
It's growth,
because that didn't need to be their only character thing, and I love that.
And growth is not even a word here. It's just literally change. It is a growth would show you.
For Kane, it's growth because he was an idiot. He was a complete idiot. Drew didn't there's no growth in Drew. Not we didn't showing his lifestyle here. That's all it is. It's because he's not in love because Gordo's dead. But with Kane, Kane is making smart decisions now. We ain't never seen Kane make smart decisions
out of nowhere and in love too. It is really confusing, but okay.
In love with who?
Effie and Noma. Everybody.
You better pay attention. Kane is in love with himself. He is Monet. He is Monet. Noma and Effie are the toddlers bagging up the coke. He's doing whatever he got to do to get to what he thinks is his end game. My guy is playing a game here and playing it extremely well. And if I got to fuck both of y'all two to get to where I need to get to, because I can give Noma the one thing Drew can't. Penis. That's it.
Effie declaring everything that we said earlier, that she's aware that he is he likes Noma and fucking on your balls and think I'm stupid, and and here's the question I wanted to ask. It's probably the only question I really wanted to ask tonight was Effie said to Keynes, he said, listen, when did all this happen? Was this because when she tried to kill you? or is it because she stood up? Oh, yeah, no. She said, is it because she threatened to kill us, or because she stood up to Monet? So, what do you think is the reason what all of a sudden got Kane to be interested with? I know you talked about the long game and him invest interest for himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's the long game. I think he understands, like, if I build this relationship, it pays more dividends than if I don't build it. Like, I think Effie's trying to hint to, like, are you turned on by Monet's tragedy? I don't think that's it at all with Kane, ever. I think because we just literally saw the first 2 episodes of Kane attempting to kill anybody. He thought it had something to do with Monet getting shot. But I think it is him understanding the way this business works. Sometimes you got to use your God-given talents to make an advancement in this world. And if he got to do that for Noma, he'll do it. Because as Monet said, Kane is extremely ambitious.
Yeah.
And where will this go? And now you're seeing where it's going to go. Because if he's screwing Noma, he ain't Noma's number 2. He's now number 1.
Yeah. I mean, again, I agree. It does. It's interesting because while Effie talks about how she wants to get out the game and planning for her long game, when she mentions that same notion to Kane about his long game, he just storms out. He's very dismissive about it, which means she can only be right. This is exactly what he's doing. All right, last few scenes here. Noma and Davis having a conversation about how Davis wants to get in with Noma, and he have some papers in order for her to give to Obi in terms of establishing him being gone at Dubai that will protect him for any bit of legal issues that may have to have him come back, because Dubai is the country to be. But yeah, as he says, I'm the person who closed loops for people like you. And says, you would like to discuss this over some drinks. He says rain checks. And I think that's on rain checks and drinks and services because she's already drinking. Brayden is googly eyed for L. And while he's talking about his life being in shambles, L hits a bump, gives it to Brayden. Brayden's going to do anything to get him his black queen.
I got to do a little drugs to get my black drugged out queen.
Yeah.
I will do so. No issue at all.
All right, so when Davis showed up to Noma's house, as I've been joking all night, security guard lets him in. Now Kane comes in later on that night, he just walked straight in, which is like her security is definitely not good. She might need to resurrect Mecca at this rate.
Hey, something, because this makes no fucking sense. The niggas is random. Her house is as secure as Stansfield is at this point. Like, anybody can walk into that job.
Clearly. But he said, why are you here so late? And he said, I've been thinking about what you said earlier. Because Noma said he did not have to come here to tell me about you handling anything. But wants to know, are we a team now? And they have sex. There we go. On to the next. L performing. We get a cameo from recording artist Young Blue, who's next to L and Brashandria as Stokely.
Young Blue was.
So there's an artist. There's an artist. There's our group of artists, shall I say, the little group that they got on. So L, Brashandria, and Stokely performing in the what did we used to call that in college? I keep thinking, what did we used to call that little student center? I guess we'll just go with it. We'll just call it student center. Now, it's like the student.
You mean the location?
Yeah, like student center, whatever it is. But obviously that's the place popping. I'll be honest, I'd be there every night too if I was in college. That seemed like a place I would just hang out at. Little party vibe. Don't have to worry about going nowhere, paying for anything. Like you hit that, looks like the little joints being there, and walk back to the dorm and be good. And if Brayden is showing up, not even supposed to be on campus, and pulling a singer, anything's possible in my KG voice, because it ain't adding up for me.
but remember though, he's pulling a coked out singer. He's pulling Amy Winehouse.
I would have been
like, you got to be very careful here.
I would have been anything possible in that joint, going crazy right now. I would have seen Brashandria. I would have
lied. You in college. You'd have been mad dog down. He'd have been mad dog down.
Hey,
ain't no anything possible in college.
I would have been Cisco, no Enter the Dragon.
Oh shit! Yes.
Hey, you right about that.
Yeah.
Man.
Nobody was drinking. Nobody now they do. Young kids do, but back in our day, or especially back in my day, ain't no fucking Henny in college. That was E and J'd out. Maybe a little Alizé on a special night.
Hey, you funny as I know what. Back to the Tejada's house, because we always know when it's dinner time at the Tejada's, it's going to go crazy. Oh, I forgot about. I'm sorry, really quickly. With Elle and them performing, this was Tariq and Brayden establishing that like this is where they could set up shop by promoting the band to be a big deal, making everybody the place to be. They can also be getting things popping in that area. I think it works. I think it's interesting how intuitive they were with the app. Now they're just really going back to the basics here. So I don't think they're built for it.
Artist management. They A&Rs now.
I mean, Brayden looks the part.
Clearly, as a white man. they turn into A&Rs all of a sudden. Are we gonna resurrect truth so they can perform it? Like, I was a tad bit confused with the decision to make this group a big thing, and I'm thinking, I mean, we know the star of the group.
Yeah.
And it ain't L. It ain't L.
Hey, you funny.
And it ain't what's his name? Not Blue
Stokely.
I'm about to call him Blue Da Vinci.
Oh boy.
That guy, we know who the star is. It's light skin Keisha. Just put her on the forefront, Joe. Like, Elle, you are her backup singer. You sing whatever hook she needed to sing before we bring back Jukebox. And you sing the hooks. You sing the hooks and let light skin Keisha just get out that joint and do her thing, because her bars were top tier in this episode.
All right, let's wrap this episode up now. We got Tejada House there. And you know, these dinners at Tejada houses don't never go good, but Janet asks Kane to say grace and everybody's laugh. But while that is the joke, everything did look to be peaceful for just once. But nonetheless, we get Tariq and Pinky, because Pinky says, I got footage from the Ring camera at Kay Egan's house. And Tariq says, oh my God, did you show this to Monet? So Monet is like, hey, I brought everybody here because I want to start my own business. This shit is so funny. And then it's like, what is it? You know what it is. But instead, I don't want y'all to be soldiers. I want y'all to be partners. This is interesting because Kane, that's all he ever wanted. And he's just like, nah, I'm good with Noma. He's definitely whipped. I think he's definitely whipped. Drew was like, nah, I don't trust her. It makes sense for Drew. Diana's like, cool, my man, as long as we turn profit, I'm out. So there's that. I will also say, too, for everybody who said that Effie was more suitable for Tariq, I have went to the lie detector and determined that is a lie. Diana was out here moving since birth. So if anybody's more suitable for everything...
That's why I laughed when Monet at this scene said, I want to start a business like you already did with your toddlers when you had them bagging up coke. I'm going to constantly go back to that. You had a business with them, and they were your partners. They were in slave labor, and now you want to bring them in as partners.
Nah, for real, though.
Insane, Joe.
Nah,
but
for
also,
real,
this
though.
goes back to your number one theory. I hated it. I hated this so much. Because this nigga just got to be right here. Monet almost completely dismisses Diana saying, I'm with you, mom. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, but Drew and Kane.
Nah, for real. Like for real. It's not even funny no more now.
She completely dismissed Diana. Diana we'll make a profit. I'm out. And Monet was like, all right, but Drew and Kane, yeah,
it's not even funny now. Like at this point now, it's down bad. It's like Diana does not even exist at all. Her baby had her out there weighing the coke,
weighing the grams
on the scale.
At a young age.
Learned that before she learned how to even write cursive. Like,
who's older?
Sad.
I thought Ain't Drew older than Diana?
Yeah, Diana's the baby.
Okay, but Diana was just so much bigger than Drew back when they was bagging up coke. Because Diana
I thought
way
Drew looked
bigger
bigger.
than Drew.
I thought Drew looked bigger. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I was so flabbergasted.
They were bagging up coke.
They was watching Sesame Street and bagging up coke. Now, I done seen some crazy videos on YouTube, but I didn't know that's where these ideas came from.
Hey, count with the count say 1 rock, 2 rock.
Hey, we gotta end this episode. We gave this episode way too much time for it then. I thought we were gonna be 40 minutes and out, but let's wrap it up here. And Monet looks at the phone and says, Diana, what did you do? And now here's what's interesting. I really thought they were going to have Monet look at the phone and they were going to end the episode, but they made sure they did not leave us hanging about how Monet was going to react to this. She said, Diana, what the fuck did you do? She shows the phone first to Kate. Of course she does. And this is where Diana, this is where Monet puts it all together, that the kids were lying. Drew and Diana was working together to try to kill you. She was the one who dressed up as you, went to Tommy's house to give Tasha's address so he could give to Tommy and so on. So Monet is pissed. Drew, she asked Drew, did you know about this as well too? But Drew and Diana are trying to get out of there. Kane goes after them with the gun, and Diana screams because she's so pissed she cannot believe this happened. But that's true. Monet screams, yeah, and that's just truly just the end of the episode. There is that we just see in a way
the family completely shattered.
This is it. There's no coming back from that. And in this episode, we did get a lot. I mean, Obi being killed, Monet finding out about Drew and Diana, who set her up to die, and then even Kane having sex with Noma. Like, it's just a wild turn of events in this episode.
Set up a lot of things, and I think it's because it's moving faster this season with these two split seasons here. Instead of the big reveal in episode 5, they gave it to us in episode 3. These are a lot of big moves that happened in this episode here.
Yeah.
None bigger than Kate actually having a ring camera. Would have never thought that would be really possible. Would have never thought Kate would have a ring camera.
You are hilarious for that. You are completely hilarious for that. That's it. I am very much tired and ready to call this one a night because I did not think we were going to be talking about this episode this
amazing
long,
episodes we think before we start talking that aren't like the best episodes, and it be these ones where you be like, wait, as you talking, you start noticing other scenes and breaking like, well, damn, this was a lot better than I actually thought it was the first time I watched it. So just one of the more episodes you'd be like, this is a sneaky jump right here that sets up so much stuff for the remainder of this season that you got to be looking forward to.
Yeah.
And Monet had her toddlers bagging up crack, which is a thing.
Oh boy. Anyway, y'all let us know y'all thoughts about episode 3 tonight. Birthright. We'll be back each and every week with more Power Book 2 Ghost recap shows here. Thank y'all for tuning in tonight. We'll see y'all back in 1 week.
Reconcile.